Welcome back. If you want the outside of your house to look great, you got to get pruning.
Gotta get to pruning.
Got to get to pruning.
That should be a new song.
Got to get to pruning. Either way, Green Thumb Guru, Master Gardener, Ed Sourdiffe. So we're going to prune, and apparently I'm going to be the trunk of the tree in this scenario.
Yeah, we'll talk about, well, yeah. We're going to talk about pruning. So we'll talk about some tools first, some things that you need. We talked earlier that you can go to estate sales and tag sales to find some of these things because they can get kind of expensive. The first thing you need is a really good set of hand pruners.
Okay.
And that's great to carry around in the garden. You should always keep these with you because there's always something you could prune. Next, you could take a little pruning saw like the one we showed earlier. It locks out like that, and it's the teeth you'll see are bigger than a regular saw. A regular carpenter saw has small teeth, so this really will dig in nicely into the branch and cut it nicely. We'll talk about how to cut a branch too. Then there's also a bow saw. If you have a bigger branch, you might have seen this when you were out, going to get your Christmas tree. You see this all the time if you get a live tree. The next thing up is a loppers, which are here. These are better than the little pruners when you get really big branches, so you can really have like a fulcrum effect here and really chop off the big branches there. Cool. And then after that, we just have variations of that. We have another one here that's another pruner, but it can reach way, way up.
Oh, for people like me.
Yeah, and it's better not to be on a ladder sometimes because it's just a little bit dangerous.
It's dangerous, yeah.
And then we have another tall pruning saw here, and this one actually will telescope and really keep going and going and going. And there's two other things here that will keep going further, so you don't really have to get off the ground.
That's
to use
impressive.
This. Yeah, so
these are built for you, Ashley.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's a really good thing.
I don't know how to use them.
No.
Well, we'll talk about that too.
Okay.
Now, some of the reasons why you prune, and you can prune any time of year. If there's a diseased branch, a dead branch, a broken branch, you just take that out of there because it could make more problems. And so that's what you do first. Other things like here's a euonymus bush that I got from a friend's house. Now, the real color of the bush is supposed to be variegated like this.
Now, variegated means multiple colors.
Yeah, multiple colors, a lighter color and then the darker green. Now, this at one time was a sport or something that came off of a regular green euonymus, and they said, oh, that's really great, so they took the cuttings and made the plant like this. They also do this with maples. There's variegated maples out there. But sometimes you'll see that the plant will start reverting like this, back to the green state. So you don't want that because what's going to happen is the whole plant's going to want to go green because this is where the plant gets its chlorophyll mostly and it makes its energy. So this will eventually die away and you'll just have a green plant. So you want to go back to where you find branches that go back to the variegated part, and you just prune that whole area out. And so,
using the appropriate sized clippers.
Yeah, I would probably use a lopper for this
Really?
because this has a big trunk. This is an old plant.
Going for it, Ashley?
No.
Yeah, my fingers are in there. So
Yeah,
And I've never done this before, so maybe,
But that's all right.
As we get to the bigger things.
Yep, we had some bigger things there. So actually, if you want to just, well, here, we'll talk about
Be
this
a
white
tree.
pine. Yep.
Okay,
So this
here
is
we
a
are.
white pine. Now with this, if you want to keep your evergreens, your conifers a little bit smaller, if you see here on the end, this is a little bit of this year's new bud coming out. It's a little bit lighter, and what's going to happen is it's going to actually grow like this and get about this long, and they call that a candle. And once it gets that big, you can actually keep your smaller trees a little bit shorter by pinching half of that candle back, and it'll just bud out there, and it won't get as long and as big. Now, with other evergreens like this, say you want to cut back the tree and really give it a big trimming back, you can only cut back on like this tree up to about where Ashley is here, because there's still some green branches here, so anything above this would still sprout more branches. If you cut where Seth's hand is, or anywhere in this like dead zone where there's no green, this branch would never sprout any new branches. So you just have twigs sticking out of the tree. So that's not a good thing to have. So that's pruning of evergreens.
Now, what about this one?
Now this is an apple branch I brought in. If you would just pull that
That's a big one.
Yeah, it wasn't a really good one. One of the reasons you also will.
Well, you could join him.
Yeah.
Join
Okay.
him, yeah.
I feel like I'm in my school play. Playing the tree.
You are the tree.
Always the tree.
So with branches, you want to prune any branches that you see that might rub together to cause a thing like this. That will braid the bark. You'll have some pests can get in there, diseases. Now this is actually a branch. I'm going to have you become the tree that holds the branch like this.
Okay.
and actually like that. So this is how the branch really was on the tree, and it was growing out from over here. Now, if you, apple tree, you really want to prune in the winter time if you're going to do a heavy pruning. And then at this time of year, you might still be tempted to prune your apple tree, but don't, because what's going to happen is if you prune in the spring, you're going to get a lot of water sprouts like this. And water sprouts are the extra weak branches that will come up like vertical soldiers all over these kind of horizontal branches.
Okay.
And they'll also spread from the tree itself. So the next time you want to be able to get in there, if you notice a branch like this you didn't like and you didn't get it in the winter, then do it in June. You can prune again in June.
Oh
and that'll
my goodness,
make it
so much to know.
Yeah.
This is great information, Ed.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, good job, Seth. We,
Thank you.
appreciate you being the tree.
Yeah.
Ed, we appreciate all these tips. Thanks so much for joining us.
And if you want even more gardening tips, just visit us online, mymassappeal.com.